Okay, so tonight we've got some really unsettling stories for you. They're all captured by something many of you probably have right now, actually. A doorbell camera.
Yeah, they're everywhere now, aren't they? And these little cameras, they're recording things constantly right on our doorsteps. Moments that, would just disappear otherwise, unseen.
Exactly. And we're going to tell you about a few specific incidents tonight. These are real accounts pulled together from source material. Think of it like opening a window onto these really unexpected, sometimes scary moments happening just feet from where people live.
Captured in surprising detail, often.
Yeah. Our goal is just to share what happened in these cases, based purely on the information we have.
These cameras, they see everything from, package deliveries to, much stranger things.
Definitely stranger. Let's get right into the first story. This footage came from someone whose camera caught something really weird around 2:00 a.m. It wasn't someone just walking up. This figure was crouch walking towards the front door.
Crouch walking. That's immediately suspicious. It suggests trying to stay hidden, right? Sure. Below windows, maybe?
Totally. And they were dressed to hide, too. Hat, face mask, sunglasses. Middle of the night, you couldn't see their face at all. First thing they did, tried the front door handle.
Locked, thankfully. That's the first barrier, always the most important one.
So important. When that didn't work, they went for the doorbell itself, started messing with it. The source kind of suggests they maybe realized then it was a video doorbell.
Interesting sequence. Door first, then the camera, maybe trying to disable it, but they're usually not that easy to just pull off. You often need a tool.
Right. So couldn't get it off. What they did next was, they covered the camera lens with their hand, which is pointless by then. It's already recording. And then they actually rang the bell.
Wow. So the homeowner gets that notification, 2 a.m., sees a masked person covering the camera and ringing. That must have been terrifying.
Just imagine. While the homeowner's watching this on their phone, the person moves off to the side of the house. The homeowner's calling 911 by this point, and then they hear it. The doorknob on their side entrance is being jiggled. A door they said they sometimes left unlocked.
Oh, that's heart-stopping. That secondary door is such a common weak spot. Lucky it was locked that night.
Incredibly lucky. Because they couldn't get in, the person starts talking through the door, just saying hello over and over. The homeowner said it was this really fake, overly friendly tone, really off-putting.
Creepy. And the 911 operator's advice?
Don't open it, don't even acknowledge them. Standard procedure.
Absolutely, don't engage, you just don't know what could happen.
So the person banged on the door a few times, then seemed to give up and left. Police came, but, the source says just the video wasn't enough to do much. But then, later that same night, another motion alert from the front door camera. They checked. Nothing there. No one visible on camera this time.
So the camera caught the whole attempt, but the mystery of who it was or if they came back later just out of sight, it remains.
Exactly. Total mystery. This story, it really shows how the camera documents everything. The trying the door, fiddling with the camera, changing tactics, but it also shows you need to act fast yourself. Calling 911, making sure doors are locked.
The camera gives you the awareness, but you still need to take action.
Okay, let's shift to a very different kind of weird encounter. This next one was also from a doorbell cam, but at a house someone was trying to sell. It was empty, but the camera was still active.
Right, so monitoring an unoccupied property, different context.
Yeah. About 4:30 in the morning, the camera picks up this man running across the street. He comes from neighbor's yard, runs right onto this property, up to the front door, and he was completely naked.
Naked, okay, that's unexpected.
Holding one hand to cover himself. They actually had 2 camera angles on this. He gets on the porch, starts ringing the bell, knocking, pacing around for maybe a minute. Looked panicked. But the homeowner said his expression kind of shifted from pain to something called pure crazy. You could hear him say needs help at one point.
Okay, there's some key information here from the source. It turns out police arrested him nearby shortly after. He was apparently high on crystal meth.
Oh!
Yeah, and he believed there were snakes inside his clothes. That's why he took them off. He'd been running around the neighborhood yelling before ending up there.
Wow. That explains the panic, the state he was in. Just terrifying. The homeowner said it was a really quiet area. Nothing like this ever happened. He got picked up by police around 5 a.m.
It's a reminder, isn't it? Not every strange thing caught on camera is like a planned crime. Sometimes it's someone in a serious crisis. Mental health, drugs.
Yeah, and the camera just documents it, which can be important for the police later.
But it definitely reinforces that advice. Check who's at the door before opening it. Always. Especially at 4:30 a.m. You just never know the situation on the other side.
Absolutely. Never open without checking. Which brings us, kind of neatly, to the next story. This one involves someone opening the door too quickly. It happened around 1:00 p.m., the source says, 1 p.m. one night, which is a bit confusing, but let's assume afternoon. A hooded man walks up to a house, fast, looks aggressive.
Seed and posture again, big red flags.
First thing he does, tries the front door handle.
Locked again. Good.
Yeah.
That basic step keeps preventing immediate entry in these stories.
It does. Finds it locked, so he rings the doorbell. And here's the crucial part, according to the source. The homeowner opened the door almost instantly. Didn't check first.
Oh, not good. That changes everything. From watching a potential threat outside to a face-to-face confrontation.
Right. The audio picked up bits of what was said. The man asked these weird, aggressive questions. Things like, who are you? What stairs there? Where are you going?
Those aren't normal questions.
Yeah.
Sounds disoriented, maybe impaired, definitely hostile.
The homeowner realized quickly, pushed the guy out, started closing the door. And as it was closing, the man actually punched the glass in the door.
Wow. Violent reaction.
Yeah. Then he just stood there for another minute, fiddling with the doorknob again before finally leaving. The source suggests he seemed high or drunk, probably looking to burglarize the place.
The persistence, the aggression, punching the glass, it all points to someone motivated and likely impaired.
Homeowner called the police, but the guy was gone. Unknown if they ever found him. This one's a stark reminder, isn't it? The camera lets you see, but opening that door, that's where the immediate danger came in.
Exactly. You have to use the information the camera gives you before you act. See first, then decide.
Okay, here's one where the camera acted more like a community watch tool. This started with a warning someone posted in a neighborhood Facebook group.
Using that visual proof to warn others. Smart.
Yeah. A woman shared footage from her camera, warned everyone about a strange man wearing a white mask who'd been seen lurking around. Her camera caught him trying to look into her windows a bit after 10:00 p.m.
And the image itself.
Apparently very creepy. Yeah. The source described it as this disturbing picture of the man in the mask staring right into the camera lens.
Chilling. But that image is powerful evidence. Proof someone was there, what they look like, what they were doing, and it's undeniable. Crucial for police, but also just for warning the neighbors, like you said, so they know exactly what to watch for.
And it worked. Her neighbors chimed in, saying they'd seen the same guy walking around, coming up to their doors too. But the good news, because of the warning, and maybe because they saw the cameras, nobody opened their door to him.
That's a great outcome. The technology helped the community protect itself by sharing information quickly. Showed them the threat.
Okay, now for something much darker. A planned attack using deception. This one is really scary. It happened May 1st, 2020, around 9:04 p.m., so early in the COVID lockdowns.
A time when everything felt uncertain, routines were disrupted. Prime time for criminals to exploit new situations.
Exactly. A father, Raymond Hawkins, 45 years old, opened his door. He was actually expecting a delivery driver. You know, contactless delivery was new, drivers taking pictures of packages on the porch, all that stuff was becoming common.
Right, that expectation of a delivery combined with those new procedures created a vulnerability.
And the attackers knew it. The source says this supposed delivery driver backed away, said he needed distance for COVID, had to take a picture of the package on the step, sounded totally normal for the time. But the source points out a huge red flag Raymond maybe missed. 9:40 p.m. That's really late for deliveries.
Way too late for most standard services. Usually they're done by 7 p.m., maybe 8 at a push. That timing should have been an alarm bell.
But in the moment, expecting a package, maybe he didn't think twice. He believed it was real. The source is clear. This was a planned ambush. As Raymond stepped out to get the package, the driver, identified later as Christopher Sargent, just lunged at him with a knife, and 3 other masked men rushed in from behind him.
Horrifying. From a simple delivery expectation to a violent home invasion in seconds, captured on camera.
Yeah, you could hear muffled cries from inside during a struggle. Raymond and his wife were involved. The robbers weren't in there long, just moments, then fled with thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Raymond and his son were injured, thankfully not life-threatening, but his son's injuries were described as worse.
A terrible outcome from such a calculated deception. But the camera got it all. The arrival, the setup, the attack starting.
Crucial evidence. 2 of them, Anthony Lasis and Christopher Sargent, were caught and charged. Aggravated burglary, weapon possession. The other 2 were never found, though. This story, it just shows how criminals adapt, how they use familiar situations against us. You have to stay vigilant. Notice those odd details like the late time.
Even during expected interactions, you can't let your guard down completely. And the camera here provided that vital proof to catch at least some of them.
Okay, one final story tonight. This one involves a different kind of threat, something very personal. Stalking. This happened April 10th, 2020. A viewer's friend, Kayla, was being stalked by someone she used to be friends with, a guy the source calls Thomas.
Stalking involves that pattern of unwanted contact and harassment. Documenting the pattern is key.
It is. This Thomas had become obsessed with Kayla, kept telling her he loved her, even though she made it crystal clear she didn't feel the same and wanted him to leave her alone. The week this camera footage was captured, she'd stopped answering his calls and texts, so he just bombarded her with messages and voicemails.
And the source detailed those messages. They show a really disturbing escalation, don't they?
They really do. It starts almost like manipulative, sorry I got so sick, then it ramps up fast, obsessive stuff. I think I might love you, can't get you out of my fucking head. There's a weird comparison to Flynn Rider from Tangled. Then possessive. I want to be with you. Fear. So fucking terrified of you. And then just threats. Not gonna give you space. I'm coming over. Already driving. One way or another, I'm coming over. And anger. Fuck you, Kayla. I am fucking crazy. Mentions driving into a field. I'll do it.
That progression is chilling. From feigned remorse to obsession to outright threats of showing up and self-harm.
And the doorbell camera captured the moment he did show up, 2:00 a.m., right after calling and saying he was coming, even though she wanted nothing to do with him.
The camera provided the physical proof that his digital threats were real. He acted on them, trespassing at her home in the middle of the night.
And here's another strange detail. They found out later Thomas wasn't even his real name, it was Matthew. He was using this alias, Thomas Castle. They figured out it was a reference to The Punisher, the actor, Thomas Jane, played Frank Castle.
Using a fake name, especially one linked to a violent character with someone you claim to love.
Yeah.
That's a massive red flag. Suggests he was hiding more about himself all along.
Definitely. So after he showed up that night, he left, but then sent even angrier texts. 4 days after the camera caught him there, Kayla and her friend took everything, the texts, the voicemails, the time-stamped video of him at her door, to the police. They filed for a restraining order.
And that combination of evidence would be powerful. The messages showing intent, the video showing he acted on it, it makes the case concrete.
It seemed to work. The source says about a month after the restraining order, he finally stopped. Kayla blocked him everywhere, and apparently he just disappeared. Nobody knows where he is now. This just shows how vital that camera footage can be in these awful stalking situations. It backs up the victim's claims with hard evidence.
It turns harassment from he said, she said, into documented fact, helping the legal system intervene.
So we've heard quite a range tonight. Naked guys high on meth, creepy figures trying doors, aggressive would-be burglars, masked lurkers, a fake delivery ambush, and a stalker making good on his threats. All seen to the lens of a doorbell camera.
And these stories, taken together, really highlight the value of these devices. They capture things we'd never know about otherwise. They provide evidence. They let you see who's there before you open the door. They can even help warn a whole community.
Yeah, the lessons here are pretty clear, aren't they? Lock your doors, obviously, but also pay attention. Check who's there. Notice things that seem off, like someone showing up way too late. Be aware of how people act. The camera gives you eyes and ears, but you still need to use your head.
Technology is a tool, but awareness and caution are still essential.
It all happens right outside our front door. So, maybe something for you to think about. We live in a time where so much activity right there on our doorstep is being recorded. Does knowing that make you feel safer because threats can be seen and maybe caught theatrical? Or does it make you feel a bit less safe, realizing just how much strange, sometimes dangerous stuff is actually happening out there, being quietly documented all the time?
It's definitely something to consider. That visibility cuts both ways.
Thank you for listening to these stories tonight.
Stay aware out there.
And please, if you found this interesting, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We appreciate your support.